was my understanding that Operation Lone Star was kind of a stopgap. When can we expect to see Texas tax dollars start to trickle down in terms of expenditures?
So in the early drafts of the budgets in the House and Senate, there's a proposal for Texas to spend another $6.5 billion in securing the border, and that would be for the 2-year period beginning in September. And what we will have to learn over the course of this session is exactly what all the Trump administration will be doing, how that may be able to reduce what Texas is having to spend on the border. That's one reason why I was up there visiting with President Trump this week, so I'm going to be going back to visit with Congress next week. We'll be learning more here this month and next month exactly what the United States investment looks like. You know, one thing that we've seen is that illegal immigration across the border has slowed to just a trickle. If we're able to maintain that, it means that the border is going to be more secure. If the border is more secure, we can recalibrate exactly what we need to spend.
And talk to me a little bit about that visit with the president. What was that like? What were some of the priorities that you guys were talking about?
Well, a top priority is what Texas is doing to collaborate with the Trump administration to make sure we're doing everything possible to secure the border, as well as to provide the Trump administration with the resources they need to be more effective. Some examples. The United States is kind of shorthanded as it concerns Border Patrol agents and ICE agents. So Texas is stepping up, and I've authorized our National Guard to assist Border Patrol in apprehensions of people crossing the border illegally. I've authorized the Texas Department of Public Safety to be embedded with ICE as ICE are making arrests across the state of Texas. I told the president that we have 2 military bases on the border, one in Eagle Pass, another in Del Rio, that could be used by the Trump administration if they need that for personnel purposes. Let them know about the number of miles of border wall that we built. We have more than 100 miles of easements that more border wall could be built that we could convey to the United States of America. So it's just ways that we're sharing tactics and strategies of collaboration to make sure both the United States and Texas are doing everything possible to secure the border.
It seems as if your message has always been deter and deport when it comes to illegal immigration. Are there any plans to utilize the land in Stark County or in other places to potentially aid the Trump administration in either the detention of individuals or processing camps, if you will? I understand you said that you would be amenable to offering military bases.
So with regard to detention facilities, this is another topic that we talked to the president about this week. What we were able to do before going up there, we were able to identify approximately 4,000 prison beds in the state of Texas at certain locations that would be available to them if they needed them for detention purposes. Here's the issue with regard to either land or these detention facilities. It needs to be located in a way that has ease of access for the federal government to get in and to get out. And so they are taking a look at what we propose to them, as well as the land that we're offering. They have a need for speed. They need beds available right now. And so they're looking for immediate availability and close proximity to where their needs are.
You had mentioned the mobilization of the Texas National Guard and authorizing them to conduct certain immigration enforcement actions. Is there any future that you see or anticipate where they will be able to work autonomously and essentially serve as their own kind of border enforcement, or is this something that is designed to enhance the already existing?
So for the past 4 years, the National Guard has been working autonomously so the governor is the commander-in-chief of the National Guard, so under my direction. What the National Guard have been doing, they built hundreds of miles of border barrier. They've been authorized to detain, apprehend people crossing the border illegally, collaborate with the Texas Department of Public Safety, and they've actually been involved in repelling or denying entry to people crossing into Texas. What we have now is better collaboration with the federal government. And I believe that collaboration will continue for at least the next 4 years, maybe longer than that. But what we're seeking to do is that we want to do more than just secure the border for the next 4 years. We want to secure the border for the next 40 years. And so we'll be looking for ways that either the Guard or DPS or state resources will be able to ensure that safety and security for the long term.
And do you have any plans to replace Mr. Banks with Texas border czar? Will Texas get a new border czar?
Yes, we're working on a new border czar. There will be an announcement, hopefully soon, about who that person will be. We are already talking to several candidates, so we're proud. Yeah, the border czar I chose, Mike Banks, was selected by the president to be the leader of the Border Patrol. And we will be looking to replace him as a border czar in Texas because it's such an important role, being someone with great information about what Border Patrol is doing, can share that information with me and my team, but also collaborate at the state and federal levels.
I want to switch gears really quick about sports betting in Texas. Have you had any conversations with senators and even the lieutenant governor about this potentially becoming a possibility in Texas? I understand you mentioned you were open to it.
So conversations like this occur every session. And gambling is unconstitutional. To change that, to open it up, requires a constitutional amendment. And so what I'm thinking is that if this is an issue that Texans should be considered to have the opportunity to vote on. And we'll see where it goes.
But nothing right now that we can expect to materialize in the near future?
Not saying anything in the near future. You're not going to be able to bet on the Super Bowl this weekend or anything like that.
And so those discussions, would they potentially include resort-style casinos?
So there are several issues that industrial players are talking about. One would be resort-style casinos. The other is betting on sports and things like that. But again, whatever the approach is to expand gaming in Texas requires a constitutional amendment, and that's a steep hill to climb.
And then, switching gears again, with regard to school vouchers, in San Antonio we're seeing a lot of campuses being closed, and there are some concerns that vouchers could potentially aid the privatization of education, as well as exacerbate this already growing issue of campuses being closed. What's your message to individuals that might be concerned about that?
There is really no valid concern about that. Let me give you a couple of explanations. Sure. One is school choice exists in 32 states already. And in those states, we haven't seen a collapsing of public education at all. And so there's absolutely no proof or no evidence that school choice leads to closing of campuses. What has happened in San Antonio, Austin, and other places, there are movements of families to different regions, and there's actually a decrease in the birth rate. And so in some neighborhoods that used to have schools close by, there simply are either no students or fewer students than there used to be. Take San Antonio, for example. You know how the surrounding counties are growing very rapidly. A lot of people are moving from Bexar County up to the New Braunfels area. And so when the families move out, that means that the children are not there to go to the school. One reason for that movement is because property taxes are way too high. And that's one reason why we're focused on cutting property taxes. But most school closures are really consolidations because families are moving out of where they used to have children attend school.
Anything that the state of Texas should know? Any points you want to hammer home for those that might be watching?
Sure. Well, one thing on school choice, and that is, listen, very importantly, we're going to fully fund public education. When this session ends, public education funding will be at an all-time high. Teacher pay will be at an all-time high. Not a single dollar will be taken from public schools for school choice. That money's separate, just like transportation and road building, water, as well as power. Those are separate funds from education, so is school choice. Not a single penny will be taken from public schools for school choice. We're going to make sure that we safeguard and advance public education. Our goal is singular, to put Texas on a pathway to have the best education system in the United States that requires having the best public schools, while at the same